Hi, I'm Randy Schwantz, founder and author of The Wedge, How to Stop Selling and Start Winning. And I'm going to be your guide along with your facilitator for the next several hours to take you through this experience we call the Wedge Workshop. Now, what is the wedge? Well, in simple terms, the wedge is really just a process to bust incumbent relationships. You know, being a student of the selling game, I've got over 200 books on my shelf at home about sales. And they pretty much all say the same thing. And here's what they say, that there's two people in a sales interview, me seller and you buyer. And what they say is that if me seller can build a relationship with you, the buyer, if me can find out what you need, if me can bring you what you need, then me get rewarded. That's what they pretty much say. I just happen to believe that there's three people in a sales interview, me seller, you buyer, and that bad boy incumbent. And not only do you need to be good at building relationships, you better be good at busting the incumbent relationship. If not, they'll leverage their relationship, get last look, match your price, and keep the business. So what is the wedge? It's really a process for both how to build relationships and bust the incumbent relationship. So where did it start? Well, back in 1992, insurance agencies would bring me in for two reasons. Number one, they wanted higher top-line revenue. Number two, they wanted higher closing ratios. And then number three, they wanted to bring in new producers and have them be successful faster. Now, what's the problem there? Well, a lot of producers would come in and they'd be there for 6, 12, 18 months and they'd be gone. Why? Because they couldn't make it. Well, why was it so hard? I think there's two reasons. Number one, when they go in on sales calls, to a great degree, prospects have lowered their expectations down to what they're getting and were fairly content. They were just looking for somebody to kind of keep the current agent honest, and it was hard to find the prospect's pain. Now, why was it so hard? Reason number two, the young guys didn't have a lot of knowledge, didn't have a lot of experience, didn't have a lot of relationships, didn't have a lot to bring to the table other than price. So they go in and ask some good basic questions, get a chance to quote, bring back a better quote, the incumbent come back in, match it, keep it, and the young guys are getting killed. So I really started focusing on the young guys, how to help them find the prospect's pain, that motivating force that causes change. And it was hard. And a lot of frustration over several thousand hours. And then one night it just hit me. And it kind of became the secret behind this whole wedge concept. How do we find the prospect's pain? Well, it really became pretty simple. They don't know where it is. Why? Because they've kind of lowered their expectations down to what they're getting. They've become content. So what's my secret to finding their pain? Well, if as a seller, if I know what I do that the incumbent doesn't do, then I know where that prospect is being underserved even when they don't. So really, we started focused a lot on what's our competitive advantage? What's my strength where the competition has weaknesses, where that prospect has pain? And so what we're going to work with in this Wedge Workshop is to help you build a style of question to get your prospect to see they're getting underserved by the incumbent without saying anything bad about these guys, while simultaneously getting them to see how great you are without you having to tell them. And if we could do that successfully, how much would that shorten the amount of time it takes for you to write new business? So, over the next several hours, what are we going to focus on? There's two critical things. Number one, we're going to focus on preparation. That's one chunk of the workshop. The second chunk is the sales call. What do I mean by preparation? Well, we're going to focus on specifically what's your competitive advantage? What's your strength where the competition's weak? Do you know what that is? And help you define that. Number two is, in preparation for the sales call, we're going to teach you a process called pre-call strategy, where you throw the account up on the whiteboard, look at who the incumbent is, and get real clear on what you do that the incumbent doesn't do is now where that prospect's being underserved. So now you've prepared to go on the call and win. What's the second part? Well, it's the sales call. All the way from build rapport, all the way through rehearsing the prospect through how they're going to fire the other guy so they can hire you. So that's what's coming up. Hang in there with